2,200 years ago?
Praise God.
How did our fathers remove that Greco-Syrian pagan influence from their culture? They got rid of it. They threw it out.
Rise up, O men of Yah.
And that's why the two houses are coming together. Because Judah will become assimilated in the nations, has become assimilated in the nations. Ephraim certainly has become assimilated in the nations. And we need each other to fill ourselves up with each other, to become one with each other, so we can stand against the pressures and the calls to compromise that are beseeching us and that are summoning us here, now, today, in this hour, in this very hour. We need an Ephraimite or a Judite to say, hey, I know where you've been. I've been assimilated. I was in the nations. I used to keep Christmas. I used to keep the pagan New Year. I used to keep Saturnalia. I used to keep the Easter bunny and have a bunny on my tree. Because I was confused. I didn't know if I was bunnying or treeing. I was like that. But now we're going to walk the road to Zion together. We're going to come back together. We're going to support each other together. We're going to lift each other up together. We're going to lift each other. Yahweh will bend the bow, but Judah is the bow, and Ephraim is the arrows that go into the bow. And together we will be stirred up by the message of restoration. We'll be stirred up to fight the sons of Greece. See, in order to stand against the Greco-Syrian Antiochus Epiphanes spirit, you've got to be stirred up. That's why it's the Miami Beach Israel Revival, not the Miami Beach Israel Golf and Tennis Country Club.
No. Right.
Come on.
How come we don't turn this into a shuffleboard court? Did you ever ask yourself that question? Did you ever go home and ask yourself that question? Why don't we turn the Miami Beach Israel Revival into a shuffleboard court?
That's right.
Shuffle the knot.
We've been shuffled enough, right? The reason is very simple. Because in order to stand against the sons of Greece, you can't do it alone. You've got to do it with the bow and arrow coming together and Yahweh bending it. And Yahweh sends that, he turns Ephraim from its own strength into an arrow. And it says Yahweh becomes that arrow. And he sends that arrow out to the nations with a shofar to call both houses to partake of the military conflict that is now underway, yea, has been underway for thousands of years. It started back with Nimrod. It started back in Ur of the Chaldees. It started with this culture of the sons of Zion versus the sons of the Chaldees, who became the sons of Greece, who became the sons of Rome, who became the sons of all those who opposed the Torah of Yahweh.
Yeah.
And that's bad. And we need to be stirred up to be victorious in that battle.
Yes.
That's why it's the Miami Beach Israel Revival. We come here to get challenged. We come here to get built up. And we come here to get stirred up.
Amen.
Turn to your neighbor and say, stir me up.
Stir me up.
So Judah and Ephraim were designed to keep each other stirred up.
Yes.
But when we keep each other stirred up, we're getting ready for battle. And Yahweh says he will appear for them and his arrow will go forth. Time out. I thought Ephraim was the arrow in verse 13. I thought Ephraim was the arrow that fills the bow of Judah. Yeah, it starts out that way. Hello? But by the time those two houses become one, what is released is no longer Ephraim or Judah. It is the one new man.
Hallelujah. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
Yes.
Yahweh takes the bow of Judah, fills it with Ephraim, and together they hear the drum to return to Zion, to walk to Zion, to march to Zion, to embrace the things of Zion, to get stirred up. The only way you can leave that garbage behind is to get angry and stirred up. That's the only way you can get the strength and the inner fortitude and the victory. You've got to get angry at being lied to, according to Jeremiah 16.
Yep.
Yeah.
You got to get angry at all those who have given you lies and vanity and worthless things that profit nothing. You will never live as an Israelite until you are angry at the sons of Greece. There's got to be a certain cutting edge to your heart. There's got to be a certain anger at sin. There's got to be a certain hatred of sin. And there's got to be a certain hatred of religious lies and garbage. I'm angry. I can remember that old story of the man who was just had a vision, and in his vision he saw another man, and he was picking one up out of hell in the lake of fire and dropping him back down. That's not the one. And then in the vision this man saw the other man pick the man up and say, oh no, that's not the one. That's Father McGillicuddy. That's not the one. And he kept picking one up and throwing the other back, and picking one up and throwing the other back. And the other man who was seeing the vision told the other man that was picking up and dropping, picking up and dropping, picking up and dropping. He said, what are you doing? What are you doing? What do you think, you're a crane? He said, no, I know what I'm doing. So in this vision he saw, and the man said to him, I'm looking for the preacher that told me I was okay. I'm trying to find the preacher that told me I was all right. That Sunday worship was okay, that Christmas keeping was okay. I'm trying to find the guy who told me I was all right. Are we on?
Come on.
So by the time Yahweh brings the bow and the arrow together and releases it for battle, who is our battle against? Don't tell me the devil, we all know that. It's against those who are practicing the culture of paganism that seeks to steal your joy, to steal your future, to steal your inheritance, to steal those things that Yahweh has laid up for the sons of Zion. But the purpose of putting the bow and arrow together is not to create death, but to bring life. Turn to your neighbor and say, bring life.
Bring
Well, what kind of life? One new man life. Yeshua came to make us one new man. See, the two houses are important to teach Ephraim who he is and Yehudah who he is. But when all is said and done, it's to rebuild Israel, the one new man. To turn Jacob into Israel. To turn those who were deceived and have been deceiving into the one new man. Go to Ephesians 2. Go to Ephesians 2. 11. Is anyone enjoying? Ephesians 2. I said, is anyone enjoying? I said, is anybody getting it? Baruch Hashem Yahweh. Ephesians 2:11. Ephesians. He's not getting you back. He's not reuniting the bow and the arrows of Ephraim and let you sit at home and play ping pong. He's putting you into battle against the sons of Greece, but to overcome, like our ancestors. How did our ancestors overcome Antiochus Epiphanes and the sons of Greece? How did they overcome? They threw them out. They threw them out and rededicated their temple to Yahweh. How are you going to live like an Israelite? How are you going to bring to pass the two houses as this message spreads? By throwing the Greek and Syrian influence out of your life and rededicating your own temple, your own body, your own worship, your own home, your own synagogue to Yahweh. There's no other way. There's no shortcut. You can call that mean-spirited. You can call that short-sighted. You can call that, I don't care what you call it. That's how Hanukkah came to be Hanukkah. We can't dedicate to Yahweh until we cleanse for Yahweh. And we don't cleanse for Yahweh by killing. We cleanse for Yahweh by being stirred up and rededicating that which remains.
Come on.
If you don't rededicate that which remains, there'll be nothing left. Because soon everything that can be shaken will be shaken. And only those things that cannot be shaken will remain. I'm talking to somebody. Ephesians 2:11. Ephesians 2:11. Baruch Hashem Yahweh. Ephesians 2:11. Therefore remember, what does Zechariah mean? Yah remembers. Remember. Well, Rabbi, how come it's all about the two houses? Because you got to remember. The sons of Greece are waiting to steal your joy, to steal your purpose, to steal your new direction, to steal your truth as an Israelite. The next TV program, the next evangelism program, that's ready to feed wrong doctrine. Error. How much cyanide do you need to die? A drop. Error begets error. If you don't nip error in the butt, it begets error. Error begets error. If the foundation is erroneous, the building is erroneous, and the conclusion is erroneous. Now look at verse 11. Remember you were once nations, from the nations, Gentiles, in the flesh, who are called the uncircumcision by what is the circumcision. Meaning you Ephraimites, you were formerly Gentiles, not anymore. You formerly came from the nations. You were called Gentiles by the circumcision, even though you weren't Gentiles, you were Ephraim. You were called Gentiles. That at that time, you were without Moshiach, excluded from citizenship in Israel, strangers from the covenants of promise, having no expectation without Elohim in the world. But now in Moshiach, you who were far off, Ephraim, a term, a Hebrew idiomatic expression, have been brought nigh by the blood of Moshiach. Isn't that what we read in Zechariah 9:11? The prisoners of hope have been set free by the blood of the covenant of the one coming on a donkey. Hello? The prisoners of hope have been set free. True?
Hallelujah.
Now watch this. But now, Messiah, you are far off, for you have been brought near by the blood of Moshiach. For he, Moshiach, is our Shalom, who has made both one. Now listen to me. In order to make two one, you've got to have two existing entities. Two nations, Ephraim and Yehuda. This is not talking about Gentiles. It says you were called Gentiles, but you weren't. You were those prisoners of hope far off. Hello? You were called Gentiles, but you weren't. You were those prisoners of hope that were far off. You were the captives of Israel. You were the exiles of non-Jewish Ephraim Israel. But now Moshiach, through the blood of Moshiach, he has made of the two, notice, he's brought you near. He is our Shalom. He's made both one. Both what? Both houses. Hello? It's not talking about Jews and Gentiles. It says you were called Gentiles, but you weren't Gentiles. How could Yeshua be bringing Jews and Gentiles together when Yahweh never called believers Gentiles? He says the circumcision, or the Jews, called you Gentiles, but you weren't Gentiles. Remember those days when the Jews called you Gentiles? But now we're calling you Joseph. Now we're calling you Ephraim. Now we're calling you Yisrael. Now we're telling you that you are the bow, you are the arrow in my bow, and if I don't put you back into the bow, I can't stay stirred up, and I will succumb to the error of the sons of Greece. Somebody.
Hallelujah. Hallelujah.
I need your arrow to keep my bow on target. He's made both one. Those are the two houses. So how are the two houses made one? By the blood of Moshiach. For he is our Shalom. He brings Shalom between the two houses. Verse 15. Having abolished in his flesh the enmity. What did he abolish on La Cruz de Calvario? All right? What did he abolish? The Torah? No, the hatred, the enmity. Between who? Between two warring factions. Two nations of Israel. The bow and the arrows didn't want to fight. They couldn't fight the sons of Greece because they were too busy fighting each other.
Come on.
They couldn't fight the sons of Greece because they were too busy focusing in on each other. But this is a new day. This is a new time.
Yes, it is.
A new day has dawned.
It has done.
A new era has dawned.
It has
A
done.
new time has come about. Where Yahweh says he will, when Ephraim and Judah come together in the latter days through the blood of the one who sheds his blood to bring us out of the pit, because we were prisoners of hope, unlike the heathen who have no hope. We were prisoners of hope, put in the pit of what? Separation from Yahweh. Through the blood of Yeshua, he has made both one and abolished the enmity or the hatred between both houses. So now instead of hating each other, we can hate the culture and the custom that seeks to destroy us, and we need the revival and the revival ministry and the revival ministry of the prophetic revival and the prophets of the latter day voices of Yahweh to keep us stirred up, because you cannot
Hallelujah.
because you cannot be an Israelite in the latter days without keeping each other stirred up. Yehuda, you need Ephraim. Ephraim, you need Yehuda, because the bow cannot function without the arrow, and the arrow cannot function without the bow. And we have a battle. The enemy is real. And until we are echad, until you see the two-house truth as vital to your survival, in your battle of faith, it is a battle of faith. It is a war of faith. It is a fight of faith. And until you work with your other brothers and sisters and teach, preach, and proclaim the two-house restoration, the sons of Greece are waiting to overtake you. You have no shot to live like an Israelite without the two-house message. I don't care how long your tzitzit are. I don't care how long that black box on your head is. I don't care how big your skull cap is and how big your cap that skulls is. Without Judah and Ephraim being one, seeing each other as equal heirs in Israel, no Jews, no Gentiles, no male, no female, only Israel, upon those who walk according to that rule, peace be upon them, the Israel of Yahweh.
Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Praise Yahweh.
He has made of those two one. How? How did he do it? By the blood of Moshiach.
Praise Yeshua.
He abolished the enmity. The enmity that saw each other as our enemies. Jews see Christians as the enemy. Christians see Jews as the enemy. Instead of realizing Yeshua came for a redeemed remnant from both houses of Israel to abolish the enmity, not the Torah, but to reestablish the Torah. But how? First you abolish the enmity, and then the Torah can be reconstituted in their lives.
Hallelujah.
And it says, by the blood of the covenant, the sons of Zion will be a bow and an arrow, and will be stirred up. That's why this will be until the day Yeshua arrives and returns and knocks at the door for the 10 virgins, especially the 5 wise virgins. He says, you got to keep stirred up. These are revival meetings. We preach loud, we talk loud, we speak with our hands, we're very expressive. We know where we're going, why we're going, and what our purpose is, and we don't waver and stumble, and we're not tossed to and fro with every wind of doctrine like children.
Praise Him. Hallelujah.
Without the two-house truth, without the restoration of the 2 houses, you can never survive the pull of the eggnog. Turn to your neighbor and say, have you survived the pull of the eggnog? Man, that thing tastes good and it pulls at you. You know, and Aunt Murda, oh, darling, did you get my package? Oh, yes, oh, thank you, Aunt Murda. And that big package comes in there with cufflinks and nightgowns and pajamas. You don't want to hurt her feelings. She means well.
She does.
Honey, you don't want a stirred up child of Zion to come into a Greek pagan house. Because if you keep insisting, and you keep after them, and you keep busting their chops, until they finally give in and show up, thinking that you're getting the family together, it's just innocuous, it's benign, okay? Trust me, if that anointed child of Zion walks into that living room, that Christmas tree will fall right over. So if you want to keep your Christmas tree up, keep the child of Zion out. Okay, because as soon as that power, that anointing being stirred up by the truth of the latter-day prisoners of hope coming home, if you invite a child of Zion that is sold out and set apart for the truth of Yahweh, and he walks past your Christmas tree, that just the power of his anointing, the shadow of Kepha that abode on Kepha that now abides on him, will knock that sucker down. You don't want me in your house, honey.
The lights go out.
The lights will go out. Baruch Hashem Yahweh. You're going to be looking for Frosty the Snowman to replace the tree. Baruch Hashem Yahweh. I look at verse 15. The Torah of the commands and dogma, meaning the man-made commandments, that, what man-made, what dogma? What separated Judah and Ephraim? Dogma. Hello? Man-made dogma. What did Yeshua come to eliminate? All the man-made doctrines that keep Judah and Ephraim separate. Man-made dogma. What is dogma by definition? Non-scriptural man-made mandates presented as scripture. Yahshua told the Perushim, he said, by your traditions you have made the word of Yahweh of none effect. By your traditions. Baruch Hashem Yahweh. So what did Yeshua come to do, Judah and Ephraim? How is he going to make the bow and arrow work together? He came by the tree of execution, by the execution stake, to abolish the enmity. How? How did he get Judah and Ephraim loving each other? How does it come that we now love each other, we walk together as a chad? How did he do that? By getting rid of all the dogma, Jewish and non-Jewish dogma. Hello? There's Jewish dogma and there's non-Jewish dogma. He came to get rid of both dogmas. Amen?
Amen.
Watch. To create in himself. Who's the one that bends the bow? We read back in Zechariah 9, 11 through 13. Who bends the bow? Judah, you are the bow. Ephraim, you are the arrows, but you're not bending that bow, that power, that might, not by human might, not by human power, but by my ruach, says Yahweh. Yahweh, when he sees the two putting their dogma aside to reconcile around truth, turn to your neighbor and say, reconcile around truth.
Reconcile.
You can only reconcile around truth. We are the prisoners of hope. That is why we are Ephraim and Judah. But that's not the goal. The goal is to identify Ephraim, identify Judah as those who are heirs of salvation by the blood of Moshiach. But that's not the goal. That's not the finish line. That's not the purpose. The goal is, watch, look at the end of verse 15, to recreate in himself, in Norman Willis? No. In changing the immigration policies of Israel? No. In becoming more Jewish than the Jews? No. How are you going to become more Jewish than the Jews? Huh? Even the Jews can't be more Jewish than the Jews. But to recreate and renew in himself from the two. There's the two houses. From the two houses, he will recreate and renew in himself a one new man.
Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Hallelujah.
So the purpose of the two houses is not to teach the two houses. The purpose of the two houses is to make one new man stirred up and ready to fight the forces of Greece.
Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Hallelujah.
The whole purpose of the Nazarene Yisrael movement is to take Yehuda and Ephraim by the blood of Yeshua, former prisoners of hope, now battle warriors, frontline soldiers, tried, ready, and stirred up to stand and to fight and to dedicate the people of Israel, the one new man, and enact the truth of Hanukkah in our lives.
Hallelujah.
We are Hanukkah. We are rededicated. We have left all those things that used to so easily beset us, and by the blood of Yeshua, of the two houses, he has made one new man. He's made peace between us. We're no longer at enmity with each other. Now we can focus our attention on the real enemy. S period, A period, Tan, and his sons, the sons of Greece. That's your enemy. All that falls